Yes, ma'am. She's sending the link out now. It's a live stream link.
We have a few technical difficulties, but
Yes, it's coming down. And look, everybody's call. I have another call coming in, but it should be emailed out to you and once you get on. I want you to announce your name and organization in the chat, and then we can
I
get
want to
started.
make sure that it,
You're welcome. Thank you.
How are you?
Hello, Miss Kimberly.
Aaron.
Hi, Miss Anna. How are you?
it just sent,
Are you calling about the link?
we just sent it.
It just got emailed out. That's okay. We had a little technical difficulties this morning, but the link is coming out. It's like live stream. We didn't want to have that link cross.
And it's gonna be a delay, but,
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I knew what your call for. Once you get on, I want you to type your name and your organization, and then I will announce you to me. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good to see you.
I can track it.
so this is just seeing what it
This is
looks like.
just what
What they see.
working the stream. This is the presentation.
Ah.
Excuse me.
Oh,
Hey, I'm
wow.
glad somebody else is doing it.
You working it out?
It's normally me.
That's what it looks like when they see it. Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, if you wanna monitor it with me, I'm not sure. I have to monitor it.
You should even be able to see.
I just wanna make sure that it matches, for home. I think it always
Oh,
is this.
Oh, so that's. No. Oh, okay.
Hey, Cam. I want someone to be up. Yes, please. Because right now there's no one on the screen showing.
Oh, this is what's showing.
Yeah, this is just the wall. Ken?
Yeah. Well, just.
Hi, I'm just working.
It's a delay.
Oh, gotcha.
So give it just.
Okay.
What's the anticipation?
So I'll still get started at 10 and we'll be ready to begin.
And this is muted, so it doesn't mess up, so we can't hear what she's saying.
Okay, we got you watching. Can you put me answer your phone? They call for crazy call.
Right, I knew it. Doesn't tell you I knew it. But it's all good. Right. If you, yes. Yeah, because last night we went to bed at 7:30.
Yeah.
So I forgot to put the phone on the charger, forgot to do anything. I didn't even go back downstairs. I was like, ugh, I'm tired. Oh, I gotta show you the one from the day. Let me see. For today.
You're on.
Can they see me?
Yeah.
So we're ready to start?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If everyone would have a seat for me. You can have it. What we're going to do, everyone should have their links now, but I want to start with introductions. Everybody in the room, give me your name and what organization you're from. And those that are on the stream we would like for you to chat us a name and organization so we can announce you for the meeting.
Alicia Williams is on.
Okay? All right. We're going to start in the room, and then I'll announce everyone once we get started. And I'll introduce staff as well, so we'll start with you.
Jeanette Harwell, Park Care.
Thank you.
Beth Bachelor, Park Care.
Thank you for coming.
Rachel Moore, Operations Manager, Arkansas.
Thank you.
Kristen Zorn, UAMS Cancer Genetics.
Michael Gate, Arkansas Cancer Institute.
Thank you.
Kenny Jones, St. Bernard's. Julie Adamson, St. Bernard's.
Okay.
Ellen Matthews, UAMS College of Nursing.
No, thank you.
County Visitor over Health.
Allison Caballero, UAMS Center for Health Literacy.
Thank you.
Landry Camden, Harding University College of Pharmacy.
Mary Haggerty, Harding University of Pharmacy.
Jay Preston with Hope Cancer Resources.
Jacqueline Peter with the Cancer Support Home.
Miranda Eugene and Aaron Eugene with Lighthouse Center for Compassion and Care.
All right.
Ellen English, Carti Foundation.
Okay.
And one call, Carti Foundation.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. And for those on the line,
Right now, we just have Alicia Williams for Legacy Initiative.
okay, so far we have Alicia Williams with Legacy, and I know I received about 4 calls, so they should be getting on as
Yeah,
well.
we got 4 more watching.
Okay, all right. With that, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. In your packet, you should have an agenda and some other attachments, and we'll go over those as we get started. But I just want to say thank you for participating, and we're pleased to announce this funding cycle, and we're glad that you're going to apply. So thank you, and before I begin, I wanted to introduce our staff, and we have a great group of staff, and I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with our tech-savvy person.
Hi, I'm Micah Grant. I'm the outreach coordinator with ACC, and I'm the one on the live stream.
And I'm Trina Mitchell, the Executive Director, so I'll be chatting on with the people as they come online.
Dusty Behan, Executive Assistant.
Rachel Moore, operations manager.
Miriam Correct, Urban Programs.
Taylor Health Program.
Yes, and if I didn't say before, I'm Kimberly Enoch Noble. I'm the grants manager with the Arkansas Cancer Coalition, so we will have a great relationship, whether you're funded or not. So
Susan Steffens from Reynolds Cancer Support House is also
Susan
on. She
Steffens,
can't
thank
figure
you.
out how to chat, but
That's okay.
she's here.
Thank you. I know Anna Huff Davis should be on the line as well with the Mid Delta Consortium.
Yeah, and if you can let them know that they can email me if they can't.
Yes, and if you can't get the chat to work, please email Micah and she will relay all the information to us. So let's start off by just going into a little bit about the agenda. You have it all in front of you. Next slide, please. There we go. And as it mirrors the same agenda that you have in front of you. And we kind of did our welcome and introductions, but I wanted to talk about the Arkansas Cancer Coalition itself. And the mission is to facilitate our partnerships and provide cancer control strategies to our state. And so with your partnership, this is going to make this a reality. And so we want to impact the cancer burden in our state and in our community. So we're excited that you all will be a part of this. The purpose is that we have to implement evidence-based and promising practices in cancer control. And we have 10 chapters in our Arkansas Cancer Plan. And I hope by now you are all familiar with the Arkansas Cancer Plan. Starting with chapter 1 is lung cancer, all the way down to cervical cancer. And then we have additional chapters, which is palliative care, survivorship, and evaluation. The ones with the asterisks, those are our primary focus. We would love for programs to address lung cancer, oral cancer, and skin cancer. Okay. So, application for funds. So, who should apply? Any Arkansas private or public tax exempt non-profit organization, that is you. Anyone who is also a member of ACC. So, we're going to talk about how you sign up to become a new member with our new database. Even if you've already been a member, we still need to get you into the new database. And also be registered with the Office of Secretary of State. Okay. Qualifications. So we would love to have everyone apply, but we know in order to get these things done and fulfill the objectives of the Arkansas Cancer Plan, we need to have capacity to do these things. So we want an applicant who has the capacity to provide programs consistent with the Arkansas Cancer Plan. They are able to demonstrate administrative and fiscal management and also have the staff support to carry it out. Okay. Overview here. Those that are submitting for this RFA through the Arkansas Cancer Coalition, they cannot have additional funding that duplicates any of their funding. So if you apply for the Arkansas Cancer Coalition funding, you may not duplicate funding from Tobacco Cancer Control and also the Department of Health and Tobacco Prevention, that's the cessation program, TPCP, and then the Minority Initiative Subrecipient Grant Office. So we cannot duplicate funds. If there are any questions about that, please just give me a call directly. Hi there. We had one more person come in. Would you like to tell me your name and what organization you're from?
Nellie Bridewell, Greater Delta Alliance for Health.
All right, thank you for here. Thank you. Anybody else on the line?
We have Jocelyn Nunn.
Okay, Jocelyn Muck. Yes, she
And
called me.
Jennifer Fielding.
And Jennifer Fielding. Awesome. Thank you all for attending. So let's talk about the availability of ACC funds. At present, there's an undetermined amount of awards. It's based on funding and how many people have successful applications. The minimum award is $35,000. The maximum award is $55,000. And the fiscal period is July 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018. And just to tell you about it, we do monthly cost reimbursements. That means you would submit us a reimbursement for payment, and then there's a quarterly reporting time frame. And that's just jumping into when you're awarded. Next slide. We're going to talk about the Arkansas Red Counties report.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Will we get a copy of all of the slides?
Yes.
And everything?
You're going to
When I
get a
finish,
whole share report of good resources that is going to be very beneficial to you in submitting things to us. So we have a shared drive.
I was going to mention the video will be available for playback.
Yes.
You can go back and
Yes.
check it out.
Yes. Thank you.
But we will put this presentation on the ACC website as well today, so.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right. Previously, there were 14 red counties in our state. And I'm not for sure if you're familiar with the Arkansas Red County report, but it's the life expectancy profile, which shows Benton County being in the yellow, the darker yellow, versus those in the red counties. That means those that live in the red counties die at least 8 to 10 years sooner than those in the other counties. So that's why we're targeting those red counties. I've listed those. Starting with the highest mortality is Poinsett. Then it goes to Phillips, Cross, Mississippi, Lafayette, Washita, Bradley, Jackson, Woodruff, and Lawrence. So these are the 10 Arkansas red counties we are focusing the most impact on. We want to tackle these counties. All right, now to our new system. We have an Apricot online system. All right, and first we want to start with new membership because you cannot apply for funding unless you are an ACC member. So we want to make sure those who were members previously are signed up through the new Apricot system. So even if you've applied or even if you've already been a member, you would register and go to the arcancercoalition.org/membership. And you're going to go to the ACC website, but once you click on the link, it'll direct you to the Apricot system. And this is where you're going to do all of your entering and applying for your grant. Yes, and there is a handout in your packet. Looks like this. Says apply for membership, has the direct steps that I'm going to go through right now. Okay. So this is the ACC website. Once you get there, you'll see organizational partners, and you can click on that link. Once it comes up, you'll see the form. Same information that we captured before, but now it's all electronic, and it will put your tax ID number with your organization, so we would match those two. You will need to complete everything with an asterisk, and make sure you save the form. Anything you do in the Apricot system, I would suggest you get in the habit of just hitting the save button so you don't lose any of the information you've already entered. So the information for the membership includes your organization information, counties served, target populations, and then the organization services that you provide, and you will see the snapshot of that. The final part is that you create a username, and your username must be an email address. Keep this information safe so you don't forget it, and your password. Make sure you hit the click save record on the right hand side, and then you're able to print a copy so that way you can save for your records as well. Any questions so far? Yes, ma'am.
For a large institution like UAMS, would you see individual researchers making personal accounts?
Your department. It's going to be based on your department. And then you may have multiple usernames that can go in and work on it, but I think it's all based on your department from UAMS. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It would just be one login for that particular organization.
For that department, or is it the?
The department.
Yes, for the department. Yes. Yes. So are you thinking that you're going to have multiple people within your department assisting with applying for this grant?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
You
Just
just
share
link
the-
to one email, that
Mhm.
gets a little tricky in terms of multiple people having access.
Right. And I'm thinking the way we.
Suggest the best way to do that is still have one login. It gets
Right.
some money when you have so many people going to one system. That knows rather than here to get the training.
Right.
So it may be best to put it on paper than have someone to actually dump it into the system or
Yes.
upload it into the system.
Right.
But just use that same
You
password.
can only have one login per department, so you just have to share
Right.
the email and password.
That's what I was going to say. So both of you correctly said that, but it's going to keep it where one person has the oversight of what's going in, but you don't want multiple people going in making changes. And also you can print a template. This is what I've been telling other people, is that you can make you a Word document template and then just cut and paste and put it into the Apricot system. That may work easier.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? Any questions online? All right, let's keep moving. So once you have your username and your
Wait, I do
password.
have a question.
Okay, yes.
Oh, okay. Will you repeat the audience questions for those watching this
Sure,
stream?
I
So
sure.
that, will you say what was
Sure.
just asked?
So the first question was wanting to know within the system of UAMS, there may be multiple people applying, multiple departments, and then within that department, multiple people may want to work on the same application. So we're trying to condense it, make it one email address, and that can keep it where it's strategically done by one person and oversight is done by that person. What I suggested is that they can make a template of the questions and use a Word document to use within their office and then cut and paste and put it into the Apricot system. Okay?
I have a follow-up.
Yes, please.
Can the same organization apply for multiple grants?
Yes.
Okay.
The question was, can multiple organizations apply? Same organization apply for multiple grants, excuse me. Yes, that is the case. You can do that. And it would be actually reviewed based on the merit of the individual application. So,
So you
Good.
can only be awarded for one grant, you can't be awarded for multiple grants.
So one organization can only be awarded for one grant.
that is correct.
You can apply for more than one, but you can only be awarded one.
It's gonna just be.
Now, within that, it's a little bit shaky within the.
So when you have any large institution that doesn't really apply, if you have a small nonprofit that want to put out 3 different types of grants and hope that, one of them get picked, that's fine. But when you AMS, because we know there's multiple departments in there, it doesn't apply to you or any other large institutions. We funded several. We funded 2 departments of UAMS before and one grant funding period. So don't worry about that.
Very good question. The concern is that we have UAMS, which has multiple departments, and they don't want to exclude themselves because multiple parts of that institution is applying. So yes, please apply. And I'm going to use our Hope Cantor ladies. They always do more than one application, and that's a great thing. Yes. So, all right, moving on. Any more questions? Okay. So from here, you have your login information. You have one more slide back, please. One more slide back. One more back. There we go. I want you to see this one because should be either bookmark or so that way you know to go directly to this Apricot website and you can enter your login credentials here and it will take you now to the home page. Right?
And also from the Open to Cancer Coalition website, if you go onto the competitive grant page, there is a link to this website from there.
From the website as well. So ACC can be your starting point and then you can click out. Just know that you're leaving the ACC website once you go to the Apricot system. So once you get into the Apricot system, you will see the home page. From here, this is where you're going to edit your information, any contact information, and apply for grants. All right. Now the online system applying for the grant. So if you see to the left, there's a yellow circle. This has application overview. From the home page, you would click on application overview on the left-hand side. And we also have a user guide, step-by-step screenshots, along with the presentation, so it will be very beneficial to you. All right. But first, speaking to your question, important resources. We have shared files on the Apricot system. from the Arkansas Cancer Plan to the Arkansas Red County Report to a budget justification template to the grant disclosure and certification form. And I'm going to go all over these once we go through. But I wanted you to see that this is an important place on the Apricot system where you can find a lot of the templates that you will submit and upload for yourself. So again, I want to show this to you. You have on the left, my shared files. On the bottom, you can actually download them and download them into your Word document, and you can work directly from them. Okay, so this is a very helpful place to begin. All right. So my shared files is always located on the left-hand side. To download, like I said, you just hover over the actions and select download. Since it's so important, I put it in here twice. Shared files, and you hover over what you would like and click download, okay? This is going to be your friend here, besides me. From there, let's start into the application cover sheet. The cover sheet is going to be the actual top part of your application. So this is what we see when we receive your cover sheet. It has your organization name, the grant, and also the tax ID number, your contact person, application information. This is where you would come up with your title. We know the funding year is 2017 to 2018, so you would just click on that, and then your anticipated amount that you're going to actually request. All right, any questions so far before we dive into the application? All right. All right. Since we are here at the cover sheet document folder, this is where all of your documents will be in one place, okay? And you have 5 different sections you will answer, just like the paper copy we normally do. Now everything is electronic. So you'll do your narrative, your program goal and objective, activities, budget, and then upload all of your documents and you're ready to submit. Sounds easy, right? Okay. So starting here, the first section, as you see, you have 5 of them. You'll be able to hover over it and then say create new. So every time you go in, you can create a new. Make sure you save your record so you don't lose any of your information. So we're going to start off with section 1, which is your narrative. The required information in your narrative, that's your abstract, statement of need, your vision and sustainability plan, program narrative, goals and objectives and strategies, and then your management plan. Okay, you will complete all of this information for your narrative section, and I did snapshots so you can see. For the abstract, this is your accurate description of the paper, your proposed work that you plan to do with your paper here. The proposed work, you can list it here. We actually have examples of the Arkansas Cancer Coalition, so that way you can look and see and have something to kind of go from. From there, you have program narrative. This is to describe the overall methods and strategies that are being proposed to address the problems. And we have one person that has entered the room, and I'd like to put him on the spot, and you introduce yourself and what organization you're from.
I'm Ronald Wilkerson. I'm with the Adventure Organization.
Okay, thank you so much for attending. All right. We are going through the PowerPoint, and you will have a user guide. If you will pull your user guide up, and you can go right along with us. The next thing is your goals and objectives and strategies. This is where you would say your grant type. If it's a new, or is this a continuation? Is this program funded by any other sources? You would list those here. And then this is where we dive into the Arkansas Cancer Plan. And by now, I hope that you reviewed it, kind of thought about what activities and what proposed objectives you're going to kind of tackle. And if you could, I'm on the wrong side here. Should be goals. There we go. Good deal. So this is where you can choose your Arkansas Cancer Plan focus. You can choose your cancer continuum focus area. If it's access to treatment, survivorship, transportation, all of that, you can actually include that there. And they're all drop down boxes, so it'll make it a little easier for you. And then you enter your total number of goals. You may not know yet, so you may want to skip it and then just come back to it. But I would hope that you've kind of thought about it and kind of have a plan in mind before you start writing. From there, we have program management. And this is here where you provide a description of your management structure, your financial systems, the staff you have in place, and it's all listed here. So we have little snapshots that can help you with this information. Again, always click Save Record, okay? and click view folder, and that way you can continue to go through your application. So with that, section 1 is done. Again, you're going to repeat that for each section. You have 5 sections of your grant. Each time you'll create a new, and then you'll go in and enter that information. And do not forget to save. I'm going to say that all day today. Yes, ma'am.
Is there any sort of word limit?
Some of them have it where it's listed. The question was, is there any word limits? It's going to denote it if there is. Most of it, you're just going to be entering text. Again, record save checklist. Please do not forget to save. Next slide, please. All right. And there will be a red X by anything that's incomplete. So that's going to help you track what you're doing. Okay. So any questions before we move into step 2? Good deal. All right. So section 2 is program goals and objectives. Remember, there are 5 sections, so you'll do the same thing. Follow the instructions where you hover over it and click create new. Okay, and now we're going to do program goals and objectives. So for this one, this is where we talk about the Arkansas Cancer Plan again. You're going to fill out this record with 3 program goals, and you may not have 3 program goals, but we have it where you can enter in 3. When you're finished entering, make sure you save your record. And since we have here, you can pick your Arkansas Cancer Plan goal and then put your SMART objectives in here. I'm going to go over those 2 before we move on. So the Arkansas Cancer Plan, I'm pretty sure you guys know about the Arkansas Cancer Plan. This is our 3rd edition of the Arkansas Cancer Plan. We have a mini small one, and then we have the overarching one that has all of the chapters and all of the strategies, and you can click from our website and actually go there for the full version. SMART objectives, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. And so I have some examples of not SMART objectives. So we know that we do not want these objectives. Reduce the amount of cancer in men by June 2018. Not specific nor measurable. Create a cancer screening event. Not specific, measurable, or time-bound. Increase colorectal cancer knowledge by developing a poster contest. So we know those don't work, right? I have examples of SMART objectives. Timely by June 30th, 2018. Provide case management and patient navigation services to 500 newly diagnosed cancer patients. Another one, provide breast health education at 140 industrial and rural clinic sites. And that's by June 30th, and that's from St. Bernard, so thank you. By June 30th, 2018, increase from 10 to 20 the number of businesses in ABC County who report implementing a tobacco-free policy. So these are examples. If you have questions and you're like, I don't know if this is specific enough, please just call me. I'll be your person that'll help guide you through this process so we can have successful applications, okay? Remember, record save checklist. Do not skip over this process or you will have to enter it again, okay? If there's a red X beside it, that means it's incomplete. Okay? Any questions? All right. Moving on to section 3, program activities. Any questions this way, you guys? Good. All right. So, program activities. This is where you're going to take your goals and expand on your goals. And the goals have objectives. From there, you can enter in different activities and strategies, and you just continue to click new for the number of strategies that you have. Okay? Okay, excuse me. So from there, activities. I have it brought down where it's a little snapshot that shows planned activities 1, your target population, what's your timeline, what are your key partners. And if anyone is familiar with this, they know this is just a work plan. So this is your work plan already put into text boxes, and it'll create your work plan for us that you will follow. Okay? Anticipated outcomes, your measures, they're all listed there. So once you enter in this, it'll make us a little work plan that we can all follow. And I'm so excited to see what it looks like. So again, please do not forget to save. That's important. If you accidentally just close it out and say view folder rather than going back to enter more strategies or activities, that's okay. Just click on the goal that you were working on and you can go back and edit your strategy. So if you had multiple strategies you wanted to put in there, you can now go in, and as you see on this one, you have program goals, your objectives, and then from there you have program activities, and you can continue to add. All right. Any questions? Remember your record save checklist on the right hand side. Any items with an X. All right. Now we're to section 4, and at this time I'm going to have Rachel Moore come up and talk about budget. Although she is doing this presentation, I would still like you to contact me. We will not bombard the money lady. We're going to let her deal with the numbers and keep our money going. But I do want her to speak on budget. And then she has an attachment. It's the allowables versus the unallowable. If you will pull it up, she's going to go over that part as well.
Yes. And then will you go over this?
I'm going to hang up here.
Kim will go over the section of how you put in your budget and stuff, but I'm going to go over this allowables and unallowable cost.
There you go. A little shorter.
Yeah, sorry, a little short. Okay. So some things that are allowable, you know, salaries are allowable, but you have to state the person's name, their position, their total annual salary, and then what percentage the ACC is going to cover. There's an example in there, you know, Jane Doe, she's your program coordinator, annual salary of $30,000. She's 10% on this grant, so we're going to be paying $3,000 of her salary. And those are some things that you need to make sure that you put in there in your budget justification. Fringe, those are things of like your insurance, your FICA, what is the, you know, percentages of those. You know, you have retirement and everything like that. We just need to know those percentages. Supplies, paper, pens, ink. Example, $65 at 1.25 FTE. Most people, I'm sure, knows what FTE is, or anybody that doesn't know what the FTE is. Okay. Some people do say that they don't know, so that's why I have to ask. Speaker fees, travel, meals. You must stay within the per diem guidelines. You can look on the Arkansas State guidelines, and they'll tell you what the per diem guidelines are. Speaker, that's the meals that we will pay as per diem for speakers. Travel, you have per diem for yourself if you're traveling. I think Arkansas is what, 46, and I think Hot Springs like 51, but you can look that up on the Arkansas guidelines. Mileage, 42 cents per mile. We do not pay on gas receipts, and we only pay 42 cents per mile. Am I still too short? Oh, I'm short. Sorry, y'all. We'll pay for educational tools and pamphlets and brochures. Those are some things that, yes, we do want you to buy and we do want you to purchase and use. Make sure you get those educational tools pre-approved. Yes, that's what I was looking for. If they, especially if they have the ACC logo on them, make sure that they are pre-approved if they are not like a CDC or an ACS or something like that. So, workforce development, we will pay for training and conferences. We cannot pay for food, and that's down. You'll see that down there. That's one of the things, you know, we will pay for your, you know, your room rental and stuff like that, or your speakers, audio, visual. Those are things that we will pay for. Media and advertising, radio spots, billboards. Make sure you get those pre-approved. They're, you know, when you're awarded, you'll get an approval sheet that you'll send through Kim, and Kim will send through our communications person who will get it approved. Make sure you get those things approved first. And again, on the conference and meeting costs, we can't, no food is allowed anymore. And that's just given down from us. We're in the same restrictions ourselves. So, but we do pay for room rental and audio visual. Printing, graphic design, postage, those are things that are things that are allowable. We know you're going to have printing and you're going to have graphic design. You know, as long as they're not some enormous amount and stuff like that, but we know you're going to have those things. Transportation, gas cards. There's a lot of organizations that do gas cards. Make sure you justify you know, how many gas cards, how many patients you're looking at, what counties. Make sure you put that in your budget justification. Mileage, see that example above. We do 42 cents per mile. There's some people, organizations that have vans that transport patients. Make sure that it is 42 cents per mile and not on gas receipts. So, equipment and equipment rental. You can rent equipment. Anything over 600 is considered depreciable. We'd like for you to have at least 3 quotes if you can. You know, it's not totally required, but you know, if you can get 3 quotes, that would be the best option for you for anything over $600. And make sure that if you're wanting to buy equipment for your grant, make sure that it is completely justified out what you're going to use that for, who's going to use it, and all that. So, indirect cost, administrative, rent, payroll processing, utilities, professional fees, like if you have audits or you know, sometimes you just have a CPA that comes in and looks at your books or whatever. Make sure you justify those out. And those cannot exceed 10% of your overall budget. Office space, lease, and rental. Make sure you put it on there. You know, if you are, you know, if this grant is only, you know, 10% of your program, you know, and your whole rent is $3,000 a month, you know, we're not going to pay for $3,000 the entire thing. You know, you need to make sure you just buy that out if we're only paying a portion of your program. So, some things are not allowable. Fundraising, we cannot pay for any fundraising at all, and no expenses related to fundraising. So you can't buy something and then try and sell it to fundraise. No lobbying expenses or related to lobbying. Entertainment or incidental costs related to entertainment. If you want to hire a band or something like that, that's going to have to be on your own unrestricted funds. If you want to have a gala or something like that, that will have to be on your own unrestricted funding. No alcoholic beverages, no legal fees, no gifts. That has been a thing in the last couple of years. People want to use gifts or incentives to give out to people to entice them to take their survey or something like that. That is something we cannot allow. You'll have to figure out a different way or get somebody else to fund that portion to do that, but we cannot pay for any gifts or incentives. No first class or non-coach travel, contribution or donations, advancements or contractor consultant advancements. We don't do any advancements. Everything is on reimbursement. So if you have a contractor that does work, they can do the work and bill you, or you pay them. You know, we won't advance any money for that. So, and outside evaluation contractors, we already contract with an evaluation contractor. So if you have your own evaluation contractor, we will not pay for them. So there's a list of the allowable and unallowable costs on our website. There's a link right there. It's been revised within the last year or so. So some of the things to make sure to do: make sure you have a budget sheet and justification numbers match. Our new system should help you match all that. But your justification, it's a Word document, and so and it's a template, and you're going to upload it. Just make sure everything is on there, and make sure it's in that template. There in the past several years, there are some people that will make their own template and then put it up there. That's not going to work. Use that template that we've afforded you, and make sure that you justify everything out. So let somebody else double check your math on that justification. You'll be surprised at some things, you know, numbers off or something like that. You know, we don't want you getting kicked out just because of that. So don't not send in a budget justification or include items that are unallowable. And don't be under or over the awarded grant amount. If you ask for 56, you're going to be kicked out. If you ask for 34, you'll be kicked out. So those are things, make sure you really look at. You know, that justification we really go through after we score everything. Those are the things that we really go through, those budget justifications, and see what we can and can't allow and how we're really going to award you. So is there any questions? There's not any questions on the budget piece. And if your financial person's not here today, make sure you give them all this information, because they'll really need to know, because I'm sure that a lot of the financial people will be entering in this information, and you'll be surprised at how many people don't. The financial person doesn't show up, and then that gets kicked out because they didn't put in the right stuff. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So back to the apricot system. So you can see how you put these numbers in. It's going to automatically calculate for you and do your grand total, but just make sure you enter all of the required information. This includes your financial contact and there, also any personnel. And as she went through all of the lists, so there's a tab for each specific line item. Very self-explanatory. I think this may be the easiest part to do. But at the end, it'll total your budget. And I actually did a snapshot on the next page. There we go. This is the budget justification. We like for you to follow this template. Like, we wanted to give you something to go by, and that way it's easier for you to put in your cost that you would like to apply for. And that's on your shared file, those important documents. And then she went over already the allowable versus unallowable, so I'm not going to do that one. And she talked about the restrictions and also the 2015 updated grants administrative procedure manual. Goes through all of the costs that are allowable. And she talked about the restrictions about the fundraising, entertainment, and all of that. Yeah, you're fine. She kind of did all this already. And do not forget to record save checklist. Make sure that way you can continue. If there's anything with a red X, it will not let you continue. Last section is uploads. So the items that we will upload: the budget justification form, your certificate of good standing, where UAMS and any U of A institution may not have the certificate of good standing, but a letter will suffice that you are up to date and your status is current, and that will be sufficient. Although I did put a sample on the shared file, so if you don't know what that looks like, you can see what a good standing certificate looks like. Also, there's a grant disclosure and certification form. That's what you're going to actually fill out and make sure that your financial person signs off. And the tobacco-free policy. I'm going to go into that later, but this is a new thing since it's been passed down ADH to ACC. We're trying to make sure that we're all tobacco-free, and most campuses are already, so that would just make sure you go to your HR and say, hey, print me a copy of our policy, and you can upload it. So I'll go back into that before we finish, but those are the 4 items that you would upload. And this shows you how to do it. You'll put the date, what title, and you're just going to upload is either a PDF or a Word document, and you can just upload it directly there. You're going to upload your budget justification, your Secretary of State good standing, your disclosure contract form, and then the tobacco-free policy. Make sure you save record, and you can view the folder just to make sure everything is in there. Again, record save checklist. Okay? Now we're ready to submit the application. After you do all 5 sections, you are done. I would say thoroughly proofread it. Do not hit the submit button until you've actually gone through it and looked at it a couple of times. Once you submit it, you will not be able to go back into it. So we want you to take that time. Remember to click the submit application button. Even though you've entered everything, if you do not click that button, it does not submit. Okay? Deadline is March 13th, 2017. So once you're done, you can go back over it and see from the cover sheet all the way to all of your additional documents that you've uploaded. And as you can see, the number of records that are there, and it will show a green checkbox all the way to the right. And so we have green check marks, so that means we're looking good. We reviewed it. We're satisfied with what's there. Make sure you hit submit application. I'm sorry?
He says that one says 30,000. Would it be 50?
It would be kicked out. You're very good. We put some little things in there. Actually, we had some other things, but nobody actually noticed it. On one of them, it just says ACC has a staff of 7. That won't work. You saw that? Good deal. We kind of put some things in there to say you can still save it, but it will not go through because if you don't meet the guidelines, it's going to be kicked out automatically. But as you see, it's a fillable kind of form, so if you put something in there, it's going to accept it. Very good. Very good. So I put a timeline again. It's also on your actual agenda, but again, to reiterate, today. This is the first. We're doing our workshop. It actually was released on Monday, so you're still in great time frame. The closing date is March 13, and we'll go through our review process. And we have peer reviewers, we have scientific reviewers, and it goes to our board of directors. And then we have an anticipated date of May 12th. And that way you have time to kind of start planning for July and also get your ducks in a row with financials as well. And the period is July 1st, 2017 to June 30th, 2018. And what I will do is in July, I like to have a grant workshop where those who have been funded, we will have another session where we will show you how to complete all of the guidelines, how to make sure you're submitting monthly reimbursement forms, your quarterly reports. So we'll be much more intimate then. All right. Any questions so far? Good deal. It's going great then. Yes, yes.
You mentioned earlier when you had the 5 items and you hover over
Yes.
action and you select, create new.
Yes.
Is there an additional option there once there is something created for that particular section and you want to go back and edit it? When you hover, is one of your drop down options edit?
No, it would be you click on it. Click directly on that.
That one shows up.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
great. Thank
So I was going to go back so you could just see it as we were going through. Here we go. So your additional documents, once you didn't go back, sorry. This is slide number 32. 32. Sorry about that, you guys. Anyway, it just has additional documents. All of the 5 from the narrative program goes all the way to uploads. On the right, it said create new, but once you've created a new, it's going to come up where you can highlight the document you want to go change. Thank you. Very good question. The question was, do you have to create new if you want to go edit any of the additional documents? And that is no, you just click directly on it. And there it is. Sorry about that. Any other questions about that? Yes, ma'am.
Tobacco-free policy, is that
Okay.
something that we sign, that you have a form that we sign?
Yes, ma'am. That's next. I'm going over that now. If you would go back to the after uploads and submit after the timeline, go to grants manager first because I want to make sure that my staff stay free and clear and easygoing, especially my money lady. I do not want to bother her. So please, if you have questions, call me directly. I'll be the liaison between ACC and your organization. I'll be the one that you call when you're having questions. I am going to be there through the whole RFA process all the way till you submit. And then when, not if, when you're funded, we'll be doing that, the whole process, the closeout. Primary contact for technical support. Can you click the slide? There we go. And also ensures compliance with ACC guidelines and all of our regulations. So we'll be very much in contact all the time. So I have my information here, but if you go to the website, we are listed on the website and you can just email me directly, call me anytime you have any questions. Please don't wait until the last minute. So she kind of went over the do's and don'ts. I'm not going to go over that. I just want to go to the last don't. Do not wait until the deadline to call me. I'm going to turn my phone off the day of that is due. Please do not call and wait. Because we'll have people that wait until the last moment. You said what?
I see your phone to be on.
I'm completely going to turn it off. But we're giving each of you until 11:59 p.m. on the due date. So that's plenty of time to get it in. And we figure if you're having technical problems, if you get into midnight, you probably can get everything done. But I do not want you to wait until the deadline. If you start now and you have questions, please just contact me. We can get that taken care of.
And it's automatically set to cut off at 11:59.
Like that,
so if
yes.
you click the button afterwards, it's not going to send. It's
Yes.
got a cut off date.
Yes.
It's set up in the system.
Correct.
Make sure
Thank you.
Get it done on time.
Yes. All right. So this is the funding requirement we're talking about. This is something new for the year. But since we all have to be tobacco free, we want our grantees to be tobacco free, and most of them already have a policy in place. So you can go directly to your HR department, have them print you off a copy, and you upload, and then you're done with that checklist. But we did provide a sample template on your shared file folder. The question was about the tobacco-free policy, and is there a template, and how do we complete that section? So ACC will not grant funding. Can we go back one?
No.
sorry about that, will not grant funding unless the organization has a comprehensive tobacco-free policy in place. This policy must prohibit all tobacco products. That includes combustible and smokeless. And let's see, even electronic cigarettes and vapors. And so this must apply to all staff, all visitors, vendors, patients, clients, etc., but should not be included in the smoking designated areas, which I know some institutions already have. We must receive, ACC must receive a copy of the organization's comprehensive tobacco-free product, tobacco-free policy, all that together, before funding can be awarded. If the organization does not currently have one, we have a form, and this is what it looks like. You can fill in your title, the date, and approved by, and we're hoping that's your HR approval. And this just has it where you can fill in the information. The purpose is that ABC organization is committed to providing a safe and healthy workplace, and is as requested by the Arkansas Clean Indoor Air Act of 2006. So this is why we're wanting to make sure all employees and everyone has that same commitment. And so we have an actual template. You can just fill in your information and then sign it off, and then you're ready to upload. Okay, policy must be signed by an authorized representative and sent to ACC before the deadline. So that means upload it with your application. Okay, did that answer your question back there? Good deal. Good. Good. Okay, so that means what organization that you're applying for needs to make sure that that has the policy underneath it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. So now it's time for questions. I know it's kind of fast, but we want to give this time where we have interaction between you and us as a staff. So if you have any questions, we wanted to leave it open. And here's my contact information again for you. And then go to that last one that's blinking. Blink, blink, blink. Do not forget. Yes, ma'am. The don'ts. Yes, I'll go back to the don'ts. Yes. Okay, so the do's, Rachel actually went through it when she went through your allowables and unallowables. So it's actually at the bottom too. So we put it everywhere for you. But do follow the RFA exactly. Use the Arkansas Cancer Plan as your guideline. Make the strongest selling point. So tell us that story to get us want to give you money. Base decisions on reliable and accurate data. It would be great to have data to actually prove what you're trying to impact and where are the gaps that you're trying to address. Use proven interventions. Put information in appropriate sections and explain all of your expenses. So those are your do's. Now to your don'ts. Please do not miss the deadline for the proposal. That means all of your work is for naught and you've done all of the saving and you can't hit the submit button. Okay, make sure your guidelines of the application, so don't have your guidelines not meet exactly. Okay, don't have a priority topic. That's going to be a problem because we want you to address the Arkansas Cancer Plan, goals and objectives, and a specific chapter of the Arkansas Cancer Plan. Do not have costs that appear greater than the benefits. Again, do not have a budget that is too high or too low. Stay within the funding range. Do not, if it wasn't asked for, do not send it. So we kind of gave you what we need. So you don't have to send any extra stuff. No letters of support. We don't need any of that. Yeah, no resumes, none of that. Once we get into our grant, and if you're hiring someone, then we'll look at a resume. But right now, you're going to prove in your project management section that you are capable, you have the capacity to do it, and you have the staff and the equipment. So you'll be already able to approve that for us. And then the last one is do not wait until the deadline. That's most important. So with that, are there any other questions, you guys? Yes, ma'am.
So if there's a project that goes across chapters in the
Okay.
plan,
Yes.
is that okay, or do you want us to just pick one to focus?
That was a great question. Her question was, can a program actually apply across the Arkansas Cancer Plan in multiple chapters? And that's what it is. You may do maybe lung cancer. You may do something with cervical cancer. You may do something with survivorship. So you can choose those as long as your objectives fit under that goal, and then you have strategies that are going to fulfill those. So we've had people who do maybe prostate cancer, colorectal cancer, and then have a survivorship component. We love that because you're doing more, of the Arkansas Cancer Plan. So that's something to think about.
When I applied for one of the mini grants,
Yes,
I didn't have the option to select multiple.
yes, that's
groups.
totally different. Yes, that is
Will it be
totally different.
Now,
Mhm.
we'll be able to. select
Yes,
multiple.
with this
No,
part.
actually, I don't think
We
that
only
is,
have one check.
yeah.
Well, I thought that we could. Here, let me go back. Because there's 3 goals we can choose.
Yes, you can choose 3 goals. I would
But the
suggest,
goals are supposed to be, we expect to help this many people
Well,
over
actually,
this many time period, right? That's not.
that's
the
actual, let me, if I
Here.
could take a moment, because when we're designing the database,
Here's where it
and I just
goes.
want to have my, so the people out there, La La Land can see, okay? So with the database, your goals and your objectives are in drop-down boxes. So it takes the guesswork. They mimic the exact same goals from the Arkansas Cancer Plan. So the overarching goals in the cancer plan, for instance, cervical cancer, is to reduce the death of cervical cancer in Arkansas. So you're going to see it mimic exactly from the cancer plan. You just select that goal. Then objectives from the cancer plan are also in a drop-down box in that system. So you'll be able to select the objectives that we have in the cancer plan, but you'll be able to add narratively your activities. So it takes the guesswork. So if you're working on something that's cross-cutting among different cancers, just a tip, I would suggest you select survivorship, because survivorship is very cross-cutting. But if you have a specific activity or a project based on prostate cancer, select that. We did that for evaluation purposes, because we can have an objective that's so broad and it's hard to measure. So if we make sure we narrow it down to a specific cancer focus, we can evaluate it and measure it better. So if you have 3 goals and you have 3 different cancers, select the different cancers. But if you have something cross-cutting, I would suggest do survivorship, and then from there it'll be better for you to do it that way versus selecting individual cancers. Does that make sense?
She has it up here. I skipped over this. I went through it, but I thought that you could have more than one. So Trina just reiterated,
Yeah.
you would be able to choose your overarching goals, which would be here. That is slide number.
Yeah.
So that shows where you pick your cancer plan chapter.
That is
Because if you choose an
Slide
objective that says, I'm going to increase cancer screenings in cervical, breast, and colorectal, evidence base shows that it takes several different interventions to make that happen. So you need to treat it separately so that we'll know exactly what activity and how the needle was moved on that activity.
37.
Because, for instance, with cervical, small media may be a evidence-based strategy, but for colorectal, maybe group meetings is something that's an evidence-based strategy. So it kind of helps us actually see, is there really any movement? Because we've had some very, very broad activities, and it's hard for our evaluators to really say definitively that this actually worked. So we want to basically focus you in, take you from here, and make it, instead of being wide, we want you to go deep. Does that make sense? So if you pick a particular cancer, we know that you're working exactly with that cancer, what you're going to do for prevention or for screening or for survivorship, or if you're working with multiple cancers, pick survivorship to help with some of the activities. But if you cannot find an activity or an objective or a goal that's within that frame, rethink it, because it may be too broad, and it may be too wide and not deep enough.
And we added the slide up here. So this is the one where it talks about, she's saying the cancer focus, that's your Arkansas Cancer Plan focus area, which includes your 7 cancers plus your survivorship, palliative care, and your evaluation. So those are the 10 chapters of the Arkansas Cancer Plan, and you can't only choose one. You can just have multiple goals under that actual Arkansas Cancer Plan focus.
Multiple activities, multiple goals. You got 3 goals.
3 goals and then multiple activities. Yes. So multiple goals and multiple activities. Only one cancer plan focus, which comes out of the Arkansas Cancer Plan itself. Does that make sense now? Thank you. So please be patient with us. This is our first time rolling this out, so you're going to be like our guinea pigs as well. So if you see anything that's not working, please let us know. Let me know, and I will let our tech person know so we can get it fixed into the database itself. Okay?
And if I can just add, $35,000 isn't a lot, or $55,000 isn't a lot to take on multiple cancers.
That's
Just
true
being
too.
honest.
That's true.
So I
True.
really want you to really, I mean, these grants really are small compared to some of the NIH grants that you all get, research grants or other things. So if you keep it small, it's manageable, and it's feasible cost-wise, and feasible capacity-wise. So it makes sure that you can get the biggest bang for your buck, because 55,000 has to stretch, and I would suggest to stretch on one focus area in the meeting, because you can move the needle closer to your goal if you narrow your focus. Think deep, not wide.
Did I answer your question? Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Are the emerging priorities, include such as genomics, is that currently an option or that's not currently an option?
It's an option.
It is-
Anything in the cancer plan
Yes.
is fair game.
Yes. Yes.
It's just not listed on the 10 chapter.
Yes. Right. Because it's out of. It's not its own
Mhm.
separate chapter just yet. It will be updated for the fourth edition of it. But we just kind of found out based on our breast cancer experts that we should be adding a genomics section in there. So we just kind of tied it in with the cancers that you can actually choose. Yes. So the question was about genomics being a separate cancer plan focus. Okay. Is there any other questions, you guys? And thank you for keeping us on track. And I think with that, we are almost to an end. Is there any questions online? Okay. My last thing I want to do is to promote our Arkansas Cancer Summit. That is coming up March 27th through the 28th. And you can register. We also have early bird registration. And this year is increasing cancer screenings in Arkansas, linking communities and care. And we would love for you to exhibit if you like, or to be a sponsor. You can contact me directly and I can send you a couple of packets out for sponsorship or exhibitors. And we'd love to have you. But with that, we are done with our RFA grant workshop. And we are here to meet with you individually if you have any questions at this time. But if there are no questions from the group, we can adjourn for the day. Everybody good? Good. Good deal. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. And thank you for those that participated via the web stream. It's kind of different, but I thank you all. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. We are going to adjourn the meeting. And good luck to everyone. Okay.